chance to seal it. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly. Rotherham United's pathway back to the Championship is opening up.
Hello, everybody. Welcome again to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast, and it's fixture release day. One of my favourite days of the entire year. We get to see who we're playing, when we're playing them. I know the season's a couple of months away, but I get excited anyway. So, Mick is with us, who is not excited about fixture release day. How's it going, Mick?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Yeah, all good, thank you.
Oh, the excitement in his voice. Danny is with us. How do you feel about fixture release day?
If I'm being honest, lads, I slept through it. But we've got some interesting games and some tough months coming up, so I'm very excited for it.
Absolutely. And John Breck is with us. Thank you for joining us, John. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks, lads. I'm looking forward to it. I'm enjoying it so far.
Good. I'm very glad. We've got a few people in the comments. Palmad is with us. Gav Grundy, Kim Haywood, YouTuber Harvey, Steve Gundy, Jamie, Joanne Simpson, Cheryl Stone, all with us. Thank you very much so far for being with us. We're going to start, though, by talking about Saturday's events. Upcoming, the Midnight Memory Walk for Rotherham Hospice. John, that's why I've actually come on the reason. I should come on tonight. Just give people a sort of a rundown of what it is, why it's happening. Sorry.
Well, it's a great T-shirt, by the way. Fantastic T-shirt you're wearing. Good on you as well. Well, it's very close to my heart. I think nearly everyone now in Rotherham, the hospice now has been about quite a long time now where it's touched everybody in Rotherham. I think whether it's a loved one, a neighbour, a workmate, it's touched nearly everybody. Someone knows somebody that's been cared for in the hospice. And, it belongs to us, the people of Rotherham, and it's on our doorstep, and it's up to us to try. Unfortunately, we have to raise half of the funds, which, times are very, very hard. But Rotherham people have always backed me on it. They come forward. Whatever I do, it's a very generous town. We're not a rich town. It's only a smallish town. But they always come out in the numbers, whether it's a cricket match, the Red Glove Day, whatever I've done for the hospice. But the Midnight Walk, it started back at Millmore. I'd lost my wife in 2006. And the hospice, we come up with the idea 2008, and it's just when Millmore was shutting, and that was the last venue out of Millmore, which was a great night but a sad night, because I'd spent all my working life more or less there, and I knew every cupboard, every little hiding place you could find in the ground. But to walk out that night, I was very proud. We had 1,000 walkers that night, and we raised well over £90,000.
Wow.
It goes a long way, but so when the hospice asked me to be ambassador there, they said, could we resurrect it? Because after about 3 or 4 years, it had its time, and the hospice decided to go on to other attractions and entertainment and different things. So it lost its way a little bit. But then, as I say, I've spoke to people and I've had a great response. I can tell you now, we're well over 600 people walking on Saturday.
Wow.
We've got some great people involved. I've got Ronnie's walking with me, Dean Andrews is walking with me, and Woody's walking with me. And there's plenty of others as well. I've had some great messages from people. Just Giving Page is doing really well. And we've got over £20,000 already in, which I can announce that now. So, I can't thank the people enough for whatever I do, but it is special. If anybody hasn't registered already, they're thinking about it, come and walk with us. As I say, we start about 10 o'clock. We've got the music, PA entertainment. The boys always back me wherever I do. So we have that. We've got other attractions before we set off. But then it's great when you set off, it's a bit eerie at first. You're walking at midnight and you're going through the town centre and up to Clifton Park and then round past the hospice. And we're going to put messages. People can donate and put a message on the fencing at the hospice, and then we're off on his way. And I've already done the 10 mile. It's a grueling one, I can tell you. Make sure that you've got your Vaseline on your feet and you've got your trainers on. And it doesn't matter what your feet look like, just make sure you've got comfortable shoes on. So the 10 mile is a grueler. It took me about 2 hours, me and Sam Todd and a couple of people from the hospice, and my daughter walked with me. The 6 mile, I don't know. I don't know how long that will take. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And as I say, the sponsorship's been fantastic. ASD, these are the big sponsors. There's that many people involved, but there's Burroughs Motors, as I said, PA Entertainment, Rainwood Skoda, and Elvin Auto Services. They're the big main sponsors, and I can't thank them enough. And I can't thank you lads for inviting me on here tonight. And obviously you're wearing the shirt, and I know that you're walking with us. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We're changing his name for the one day. We're New York Walk instead of New York Talk for one day. So that's not my. That wasn't my joke, Mick.
Dad joke, mate. Dad joke.
Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, so us doing it as like Brett mentioned, 600 other people. Am I right in saying, John, that it's open until Friday? People can register to join the walk.
Can register on the night, but the way we want them to register, because obviously policing and obviously answers on the night because we're giving bands out. You know, it's a big thing to, you know, we've got radio car going around, we've got the walkie-talkies, we've got the volunteers, the volunteered. If anybody wants to volunteer, if they can't walk, we'll find a little job for them if they can get in touch with the hospice. But yeah, we need them to register. We'd like them to register tomorrow, but you can register on the night. It costs us a little bit more on the night. It's £10 on the night, but basically just donate £5. And if you can't get on the night, we'll know you're not walking. But you know, every little bit helps. It doesn't matter whether it's 10p or £100, whatever you can afford. It goes a long, long way to helping this great cause.
Yeah, absolutely. Mick's putting the just give a page along the bottom of the screen now, which, again, if you can't walk, donate. I think that's nearly 300 quid on ours so far. So thank you for donating there. Else. That's fantastic. John, just quickly mention while we're here, let's talk about the Rotherham shirt. It has the Rotherham Hospice name on it. And I think it's a great gesture by all the people, the Diamond sponsor, what they call it.
You want to say Diamond Dogs, don't you? You're trying to stop yourself saying Diamond Dogs.
I am. But the guys...
No, you're not. Well, it really goes down... Obviously, there's a lot of people being involved, but it goes down to Steve Coakley. Steve Coakley come up with the brains and he came up with this idea. He come to me, actually, and mentioned it. He says, what do you think? This was just... I said, Steve, that's great. If you can pull that off, mate, he's pulled it off. We've got 6 companies there, and they've spent up the money, they've put the money up, and they're not having any credit on the shirts, and they've set it on to the Rotherham Hospice, which it looks great, by the way. I mean, the red one, I think the away shirt looks great with the emblem on it. But bear in mind, you imagine we're going to go to every championship town and city wearing the Rotherham Hospice. It opens a lot of doors for the hospice. And also the club. It's credit to the club and the chairman to think about it. I think the trailblazers to do this, to get a charity. And that's what the club's all about for me. Go back to my days, go back before my time in the 50s. We were always a community club, and we do try to help as much as we can. The players are out doing various things through the week after training. They've all got schedules to do that. They have to help football in the community. And it is a big thing for this football club, and we do pride ourselves on it. But Steve Coakley, to pull that off, to think how he's pulled it off, but credit must go to them Diamond companies that have come on board and done that. I personally cannot thank them enough.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's brilliant. In the comments, Andrew Kelly says, evening all, see us all for the 15 count Saturday. We'll see you there, Andy.
Oh, that 15k is going to be a killer, but let's do it.
Do it.
Well, I'm going to walk the 6, I think, because I've done the 10. Because what I've said is most of my mates I'm coming up for 70 in July, but some of them are a bit older than me, so they're doing the 6 mile. But I want to be back. This is my excuse. I want to be back to welcome everybody who's done the 10 mile. So, and I'll clap them in, and I'll carry them over the line if I have to.
Matthew Sherwood wants to say thank you, Breck, for helping the Kimmy Park Pub Hospice Race Night, which obviously Dan was involved in as well.
And thank them as well. They did a great job that night.
I'll say we've got part 2 just behind me as well. We've got the trophy from the hospice now, and that'll be up and running soon. In fact, we've got a training session getting ready for that before the 15k. So I'm going to be dead on my.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me to take your training then, but.
Well, you can if you'd like.
Coming then, but I've got a busy week. I've got a busy week from Saturday.
Yeah. Right, let's move on to the fixture release day. Opening up with Stoke on the opening day, then all the other sort of ones in between, which we'll cover. John, I'm going to come to you first. Because obviously, you were involved in football when you were sort of an assistant manager and sort of coach. Do these days, when they come out, do they sort of matter? Because you're going to play every twice. From inside the club, does the fixture release day sort of hold anything?
Of course it does. I mean, you're looking forward to that. And obviously, this league especially, it's the 6th biggest league in the world. And I can tell you, lads, and everybody who's watching this league is brutal at times. It can be brutal. So you've got to be ready and you've got to hit the ground running. So you're looking straight away, we're away from home, right? You're making the plans, bearing in mind they're working round the clock, trying to bring players in. But yeah, you get focused on it, and you look for your first home game, and you want to hit the ground running and get off to a good start and get the points. I mean, as soon as we can get to 50, the better. What a great achievement this year for Rotherham United to get the 50 points. And yeah, you certainly look, and everybody's looking straight away. I mean, I think we're all looking straight away for the Sheffield Wednesday fixture and the Leeds fixture. I did straight away. I looked for that. And I think I mentioned earlier to you, I've had several people phone me, and my phone will be going tomorrow as well. If you want me to be a guest in the lounge for the Leeds game and the Sheffield Wednesday game. So I'm gonna have no problem having guests on them days. But yeah, as a staff, you're looking at the fixtures and you're thinking, oof, that's a tough time. But you know, as you look at paper, I think you said earlier that we played better last year we had some great results against the teams at the top of the league. So you don't play football on paper. You've just got to get on with it, but you have to try and just hit the ground running, and that's what the staff will be focused on. Obviously, the focus now on trying to build a team, and hopefully we'll be hearing shortly that there'll be signings coming in.
Hopefully, yeah. John Morrell, it's a brutally beautiful league, which I think is a very nice way of putting it. Fantastically. If you're a player, you want to be playing in. You know, it's just we're going to some big cities, some big clubs that's been in the big time, and the clubs that come down this year are just you know, you have to dream about that playing. And if you're a player, you want to be playing against them, definitely. Absolutely. I'll pick out some key sort of dates. Obviously, mentioned Stoke away is the first game. First home game is Blackburn. Sheffield Wednesday away is on the 28th of October. Leeds at home is the 25th of November. The reverse of the Leeds fixture is the 10th of February at Ellen Road. And Sheffield Wednesday come to us on the 2nd of March. We end the season at home to Cardiff City, Mick. And I tweeted this out. As soon as that got announced, I just felt a little bit sick going back a couple of years in the COVID season.
I think it'll rain. So don't go away that weekend. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm going to say I've got Met Office on speed dial, and I rang him and they said it's too far in front. I said, well, I can guarantee you one thing: it's going to be raining that day. So yeah, I mean, it's funny, isn't it? It's weird that one's been thrown up like the Carabao Cup draw. You know, there are certain fixtures that get thrown up, but I mean, Cardiff at the moment. Looking at them, you know, things aren't great down there, are they? They're another one of these clubs that are sort of throwing up red flags everywhere. So there's a strong possibility. Well, now they're into strong possibility. There's a possibility that they might be one of the ones that are going to be down there at the end of the season. So it's to be fair, the run-in isn't as tricky as the one we've had this season. It doesn't appear to be at the moment, but running them away. So who knows?
Yeah. Danny, let's look at the first 5 fixtures. And the reason I'm going to mention this is Rob Staten's took a bit of flack on Twitter for mentioning the first 5 fixtures. And to be honest with you, I want to back Staten up on this one because you've got Stoke away, who are not restricted by financial fair play anymore. Blackburn Rovers, who are going for it this season. Sunderland, who are going for it this season. Leicester City, we don't need to say anything else. And then Norwich City. They're your first 5 games. And other than playing Leeds, that is a properly tough first 5 fixtures, Danny, isn't it?
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, I've messaged Rob saying it were a bit unfair, the flack he's had from Rotherham fans, because that is a very tough first 5. You've got the ex-Premier League in Leicester within that. You've got Sunderland. Thankfully, we're finally playing him on a Saturday at 3 o'clock. Finally. And then, you've got Blackburn, but we turned them over quite easily last season, but I imagine it will be a different story this season. And then Norwich as well. I mean, Stoke away is quite a tough ask for opening day of the season as well. But it's sort of, I don't know. For me, it'll sort of be our test of like, right, how do we stack up against these teams squad-wise? Because I'm sure Taylor will get the team together as best he can. Yeah, we'll improve as the season goes on, cohesive-wise. But, it'll be like, right, where do we stack up quality-wise against these teams? Rather than it being, a manager's ethos and tactics working in your favour. That's where the quality of your team comes into it in the early stages. And I'm just really looking forward to it. But the 2 in particular I'm really looking forward to is either Leicester or Norwich, because I am desperate to get in the hospitality lounge for my birthday, and I want it to be Leicester. Ex-Premier League winner a few seasons ago, and it's like, yes, having that one. But in terms of the quality of the teams, it's a great bar setter for the rest of the season.
Yeah. John Morell says, who is a Birmingham fan, says to one of his friends earlier that there isn't an easy or tough start, it's just the Championship, which again, I think is pretty fair.
This is the thing, though, Matt, isn't it? And we've the number of years that we've been in the Championship over the past 10 or whatever it is, it's every year we've said, it's a tough league, it's going to be tough, it's going to be tough. But every single year, the gap between 24th and 6th ain't that big. You get the 2 or 3 disappearing off up top, and the rest, the gap is not massive. I'm not saying the quality is not there. What I'm saying is the gap. The gap is just literally it's a couple of decent runs, isn't it? So I suspect it'll probably be the same this season. There's going to be some surprises, I think, in terms of teams that everybody expects to be strong that probably won't be, and hopefully there's going to be a couple of surprises of teams who people don't think are going to be strong but turn out to be.
Possibly. Let me flip that though, John. So let's say Leicester, for example. Leicester are coming down from the Premier League. It may take time for them to settle into the Championship. So maybe playing them in the first 4 fixtures is a good time to play them because you're maybe hopefully hitting them when they're a little bit off balance. Maybe.
There's always a good time to play a team. There's always a bad time to play a team. Sometimes the way the fixtures go, if you're playing a team that's on a bad run, you're right. You're exactly right there. But then you don't want to be going to a team that's just probably 1-4 on the belt and they're flying. So when you look at the fixtures, you don't know that, but there always is a good time to go to a club and there's a bad time. So, but until you get into it and get going, as I say, you've already said it all. We're just going over it from top to bottom. This league is unbelievable. It's really is. You go in the Premier, there's 3 leagues in there. And then I think somebody was saying to me the other day, if we'd have had another 3 points, I know we get greedy, but if we'd have had another 3 points we'd have been above halfway. I don't know whether that's right, but somebody said that to me today. But it's a fantastic, and the New York Stadium will be rocking. We know that. It's a lot better in that stadium when the away fans are there. And it does rile you up. It gets going. It's a great atmosphere. We'll have a full house more or less every game. So it's mouth-watering, really, really enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. The first 3 home games is Blackburn, Leicester and Norwich, Mick. They're going to be sellouts. They're tough games, obviously, but they're going to be sellouts. And they are better. Norwich always bring loads. Leicester will obviously bring loads because first time we played them at New York. And Blackburn brought a few last time as well. Obvious to say, but that's key because our home form is once again going to be huge. To stay in this league, you've got to be decent at home. Yeah,
of course you have. Of course you have, and it's going to be. It's all up in the air from a fan's point perspective, isn't it? Because this is Matt Taylor's first full pre-season, and we're hopefully going to see what he's looking to bring to this club. We've seen patches of it over the last season, but taking over, as he said when we spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, taking over halfway through a season, you kind of it's very, very difficult. Come the beginning of August, we're going to see a Matt Taylor team, hopefully, assuming that the recruitment's all right. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays, how he approaches this league. Paul Warne was very, very successful in the first 9 games that he had at the beginning of last season. In that high energy, high pressure, which I keep banging on about all the time. Are we going to see that? Are we going to see something different from Matt Taylor? It's exciting in and of itself, forgetting that we're playing, So, I'm really, really looking forward to this, buzzing for this season.
John, just go back to, again, when you were sort of coach, when you take over a team partway through the season, this is going to sound really obvious, but the pre-season, when you get your first pre-season, is that vital? You're having that. Does that help so much more? You get that extra 6 weeks with the players rather than coming in partway through the season.
Yeah, and your players, as you said earlier, you come in as Matt did, or any manager coming in when there's been a manager either going to like Warne, he went to Derby County, Ed Hunted, or if it's a manager that gets the side, you're taking over a team that's either flying or a team that's down in the doldrums a little bit. So as a management team going in then, you've got to just feel your way in and you do your own work and what have you. But now he knows what Rotherham's all about. Matt knows and his staff knows everything that's about this football club. He'll have an idea what kind of player he wants. The hard thing is bringing the players in, attracting them to Rotherham. It's a hell of a job. It's not just as easy as picking the phone up. Agents are involved now. And bearing in mind, for fans, you look and I have people come to me, why don't we go and get that player? Why don't we go and get that player? And I even had that when I was assistant manager. It's not that easy. The agents nowadays, I'll be honest with you, in my day, there were no agents. And when me and Ronnie were doing it, agents were just coming into it. And I don't particularly like agents. But if I was a player now, I'd have an agent. That's how. And championship players that we want, it's not just about there's Rotherham United after you. If you're going for a championship player, he will have 3-4 options. And he will leave it while his agent will be telling him, go on holiday, you'll be fixed up, don't worry, we've got that. He'll just keep in touch with him. And it's just a matter of going and feeling your way in as a player and seeing where you think you will be. And then obviously finance comes into it. It's just impossible for us as a club to go and splash the money that some of the clubs do. We know that we are what we are. And but it isn't easy. The hard job is bringing a team in. And until Matt gets his team, I mean, he will have an idea what type of player he wants, how he wants to play. But sometimes when you've got your players in, you might have to change that a little bit because you haven't got the player in that you really wanted. So, until you get them players in pre-season, playing with them, playing in friendlies, knowing what individuals you've got, then you'll decide roughly what system you will be playing or what have you. But it isn't easy. I've got people walking. Have we brought anybody in yet? It's going to be quiet. They'll leave it while the last minute. In the lower divisions, you're going for players. No disrespect to them. they might have one chance. And Rotherham United, lower down in the second division, we're a big club. We are the big club then, and you can attract that type of player. But in the Championship, we've just got to be patient. And I know that Matt is a patient type of fella. I know that from meeting him and talking to him. It's not easy, honestly, believe me. You know, it's easy sat at home as a supporter, which I am now. Ooh, why don't we go and get him? Why do we get him? It's not, I wish it was as easy as that. I wish he was. We're not in Cooper's. I'm saying Cooper. Any old guys listening now, Cooper's Toy Shop.
Yeah.
Cooper's Toy Shop. My mum says you can have anything off the bottom shelf.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the players we're going to get a bottom shelf. We can't really look at that top shelf. We've got to be sensible, and you know, because the club, there's a lot of clubs gone under, and there's a lot of clubs been in financial difficulties and had points deducted. So, but I don't think we'll ever get that. Hopefully not.
No, hopefully not. No. Danny, just on transfers. What?
I said we've been through that. We've got that T-shirt. Don't want to wear it no more.
Yeah, we've got that T-shirt.
Very true.
I
No more points.
wouldn't mind 3 other clubs getting into trouble and getting 6 points deducted. That would be a nice. You know, that would be a bit.
Yeah, it would. Danny, just in terms of transfers, as a fan, it's obvious we all want the squad to be sorted by now. But as John mentions, it's obviously unrealistic. How do you feel about it with no signings yet, no re-signings of the contracts yet either? Pre-season doesn't start until Monday. I think Mondays are going to be an important day, to be honest with you, for who comes back and everything else. How do you feel about it, Danny, just in general, the transfer scene?
I think seeing clubs that have done a lot of business before pre-season started, they're the ones that have had their plan together for since before the end of last season. You know, I mean, look at how many players Doncaster have signed. They've got a clear vision and they know who they want, so they've gone out and effectively got them signed on early. Whereas I think clubs with us, like us, we're sort of looking at the players we want to re-sign, and then we'll be looking at the players who will, you know, improve us to the standard where we'll stay up and maybe push on up the positions a little bit. In terms of having players in before pre-season, it would be better to have a few before the start of pre-season because, you know, you can sort of really get the groundwork in early. But at the same time, the season doesn't start until early August and you've got until September to finalise it. Yeah, it'd be great to pick up as many points as humanly possible in August, but, you know, we've got a hell of a lot of time left to really finalise the team. Like the football fan in me that gets excited, like, oh, who are we signing? Who are the rumours today? Oh, what name can I write on my rumour wall? It'd be better to have more the names, the better. But knowing how football works, at least the surface level of knowing how it works, I'm not too worried that we've not signed anybody because I'm sure there's irons in the fire as there is with everybody. The important thing is we've got a good manager and a good recruitment team who know what they want, and it's just about getting those people in, whether it's first choice or fifth choice. They'll know exactly who's on that list, and I'm sure they're trying their absolute best to try and get them. They won't be sat on their arses doing nothing because it's like, season don't start until August. We've got plenty of time now. They'll be on it straight away. So I'm not worried. I'm just excited to see that tweet where it says, welcome to Rotherham United's X, Y, or Z or whoever. I'm just excited to see that because then it's like a step closer to the season.
Yeah,
I can tell you, lads, that it's round the clock when you're in the management and the coaching staff. It won't just be a 9 o'clock in and we'll go home at 4 o'clock. The phone will be going now. You'll be surprised at the recruitment, the agents and everything. It's nearly round the clock where they're on the phones all the time, juggling and trying to attract players and talk to players. It's a busy time, and you know, I don't envy them at all. It is a really difficult time, but you know, like all fans, they've got to be just patient and just, you know, it will happen. And you've mentioned already the hard thing as well is to get lads to re-sign. I mean, you know, the contracts are being offered out to certain players that Matt wants to keep, and until you get them in. You know, until you get them in and your plans start, because while you're trying to bring new faces in until your lads that you've got signed, because if one of them let you down, then you're looking for somebody else. It's just an ongoing thing. But I remember going back with Phil Henson way back in '92. We brought in Tony Cunningham and Don Page the day before the first game of the season. And what would have it, that were lower down, and that was the fourth division, the second division. So I know what it's like. Even in them days, we managed to get them to in the day before, and we just chucked them straight in there, and we did well. We got promotion that year. But that's not the ideal way. You want a settled squad. You want to be ready to hit the ground running, as I've said.
Yeah, but it's also.
I don't think we'll have a definitive answer until after the 30th of June when the contracts expires. Like, I know that's after the pre-season started, but that's when we'll have definitive answers of right, they've re-signed, or we can crack on signing their replacement.
Yeah.
It's also it's about being patient. It's also getting your timing right as well. You don't want to sign 10 players before the 30th of June because then there's other people. Your top targets might then become available. It's another plate to spin for Matt Taylor as well, because you've got to try and get everything at the right time, which is obviously not going to happen perfectly, but it's something else for him to think about.
It's a proper balancing act, isn't it? And you might go rushing in headlong on 1st of June, sign 14 players, and all of a sudden there's another 27 come available or far better. Great, you've got a squad, but so it's like you said, it's another plate to spin, and we, as fans, we've got to look back over the past few seasons and look at the quality of the recruitment that this club's made, whether it's been a Paul Warne, whether it's been a Matt Taylor, and it has been top draw for the bulk of it. So we've got to put our trust in them, and we've got no choice. You put your trust in them, you be patient, you let them do the job, and they will do the job. I'm absolutely confident of it. So, but it might be, like John's just said there, it might be last day before the Stoke game, before we really finally get a couple of jigsaw pieces, and you never know. It might not even be till the end of August. So it's tough times, and I'm glad it's not something that I'm involved with, because the stress must be horrendous.
Yeah. Jonathan has also had the loans in. If we're looking at loans, they're going to be later available than permanent transfers as well.
Well, the loans that you're spot on there, because most clubs get the pre-season, and the loans that you're getting, especially to the younger end, they let them do the pre-season. They want them to do the pre-season at their club. So the fitness guys, the medical staff and everything, they make sure that they've had a good pre-season. Plus, they want to look at them in games. They want to look at them because there might just be one of the younger ones that think, hey, he's ready now, so we'll keep him. We'll not let him go out alone. There's all them decisions to make. So, I remember with Wilesy, when Wilesy were coming through, we were talking about him going out on loan, and it would have been the right thing for him to go out on loan, but we decided, not me, I know Warney and Richie at that time, they decided on him to actually do his pre-season, and he was looking good, so we'll keep him here. We'll not let him go alone. Let him get his experience in here with the players that we've got, and that one paid off for us. So it's a balancing act, and it's until you get there. The phone sometimes goes, and you think, wow, and then you get the phone call, and it's a disappointment. So then you move on to the next one, and so on. And we'll not really know. And you've said already that it could be well into August before we get them final bits of the jigsaw. Hopefully, we get them final bits of the jigsaw.
Yeah, you must, as a football manager, you must have to be able to deal with rejection quite well. Because it must be constant no's.
Yeah, I think you do at every club, but I think when you're Rotherham United in the Championship, I think you will be. You'll do a lot of work, research on a player, and look at it, and you'll get a player in, and he'll come into the club, and you'll chat to him, and you'll go home, and you'll think, yeah, I've got a good feeling about this one. And then you get the dreaded phone call that he's signed for somebody else, and it's in the Championship, and he'll be playing against you. So it is. You do get disappointments. You probably get more disappointments than the because I know that the lists that you have are just unbelievable. You know, you will be. There's agents all the time. They're all juggling and getting phone calls 24 hours.
Yeah. Danny, move across to the back to the on the pitch. Morecambe in the Carabao Cup first round draw, the glamour tie of the round, probably not. But any thoughts, Danny, on it? It's difficult because they went down last season, so they are in League Two. So in theory, it's an easier tie. But again, it's early on the season. We don't know where anybody is really.
All I can say about this game is, again, really, you know, because we had him last season in the AFL Cup, and we had him not too long ago. We've lost twice against them at New York, so it's just like, oh, again, really? Yeah, it benefits us a little bit that there's a bigger league gap now, so the squad quality will be a lot different. But I hate to say it, out of the three competitions, you know, the Championship, FA Cup, and EFL Cup, I'd put that one with the lowest priority. You know, because everyone wants to win games of football, but in terms of prioritising, that game we'll probably see a lot of different players in, so we would say a normal league game. Because again, it's sort of like a little pre-season game, you know. Like if we win it, like fair play, we're into the next round. But if we don't win it, it's like, okay, we see where we are a little bit, move on to Saturday. So yeah, it's just like Morecambe again. I would have liked Wrexham personally. You know, that'd have been nice.
And also
yeah,
with it and...
hey, I'm telling more money. You know,
I suppose. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just with Morecambe, and I know this is going to sound awful, but Paul Warne never beat Morecambe in the EFL Cup, so this is Matt Taylor's true test. You know, if he beats Morecambe, that's the next step up. You know, he's kept us up and he's beat Morecambe in the Cup. You know, that's it, job done. No, it's just another game to watch for me at the minute. If we get into round 2 and get a decent draw, then you know it sort of heightens it a little bit. But if we go out in the first round, it's just on Saturday.
Yeah. And unless you're one of these people on Twitter who goes mad and just puts some angry faces all over, then it's different, isn't
it?
Yeah. John Smith early on, it covers a confidence game. Mick, I enjoy the first round of the Cup because you get to see the players who've signed in something. Because obviously on the first day of the season, obviously you tend to see only 14 players, including subs. So you tend to be more rotation. You get to see some of the new boys in a proper competitive game. And we obviously want to win, but I want to see these players play. And I really like the first round.
Yeah, I'm a bit sort of... One part of me thinks it's a waste of time. But the other part of me is precisely that. You know, we get to see the pre-season friendlies, and those games are never played at full pace. You know, they're never played sort of competitively. Really, you know, it's just about teams and players getting their eye in and getting to know each other. So it's kind of it's that first round of the Carabao Cup is like a competitive friendly. You know, it's a friendly, but there's something at stake. So you do get to see, like you said, some of just kind of where we're going to sit. Having said that, for the last 2 seasons in that competition, it's shown us precisely the opposite, hasn't it? So, you know, I don't know. Yeah. I've taught myself out of it now. No, I don't like it anymore.
You do that. Yeah. John, again, when you're assistant manager, from your point of view, the first round of the Cup, it's normally the second game of the season. So you've had the build up to opening day, and then you've got the Cup game. Is that a really important game for seeing the players how they deal with those type of games?
Well, it's important. Obviously, finance. I think that's the main thing with the Cup. I think I'd be mad to say we're going to get to Wembley and win either Cup, FA Cup or the Carabao. I can't pronounce it. But, we're not gonna get there to Wembley, but it's about finance, and you try to, if you get on a winning run and it breeds confidence, whatever. But I think what it is about pre-season as a player, first of all, as a player, you want to get the energy, you want to get your fitness, you want to get through pre-season without any knocks, any injuries. And I think as a management team and the medical staff and the fitness guys, especially in today's football, where they've got all that, they have got all the tools to do that. And the fitness is the main thing. we want to get them to that first game of the season where I can pick from a full squad. The last thing I want to be doing is getting to that first game or the first week, and I'm looking in my treatment room when I've got 6 players that's on and 6 main players on the tables with the physios working round the clock to try and get them. So the first thing is from a player's point of view, I used to have the old manager Jim McGuigan who said, "Come on, we get to the first game of the season without any injuries. It's like putting money in the bank. You're putting energy into the bank. When you get that injury in December, you go to the bank and you draw 20 quid worth of energy out of it." And you know what I mean? It's that sort of thing. You feel you wanting to be feeling good when that first game comes, and you don't want to be hindered by injuries, especially the staff don't want that. So, and the cup game comes in, whether, I don't know Matt's feelings on it, but it gives the squad as well. You might have some good youngsters that's coming through that first game against Morecambe. Don't take it light. Morecambe, as you said, we lost to them last year, and it's not going to be an easy game. They'll come here, come to New York Stadium. They'll look at the stadium. Wow, you've seen the pitch already. I've seen the grass this week. It looks fantastic. Makes me want to start and play again. But they will come down, get off the bus, see New York Stadium. They'll go in there. They'll give it everything. It is for them. It's a big one for them. But it's you try to get on the winning run. You try to keep it going. But I think from a player's point of view, it's getting to the first game of the season, and then obviously the cup game, and whether he uses the squad for that, it might give 1 or 2 lads a breather, some of the older lads, and have a look at 1 or 2 of the youngsters that you think that are maybe good enough, and 1 or 2 of them may surprise you by putting some performance in, and then they go on to things that we've seen in the past where young kids have come through and done really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike the Miller says, Rotherham have had a few decent cup runs. Wouldn't it be nice for once? Next season that will change. Earn a few bob. Yes, of course, the league is the priority, but let's have some cup joy. I could get
Mike, we had some cup joy at Wembley just a season or so ago. Just savour that for a bit longer, and let's just concentrate on getting 50 points.
Papa John's is the only cup competition that truly matters, and it's annoying that we couldn't defend the title after winning it. But that's a whole different argument.
Very true. Mick, let's talk about the Championship in general. Let's very briefly talk about our friends down the road who've had a very, very eventful week. Taking the Rotherham United off, we watch them go up and you think, damn, they've got a damn good manager in Darren Moore. I don't like to admit it while he's Wednesday manager, but they've got a great manager in Darren Moore. They had a great League One squad. They've got I expected them to have the budget. I was sort of thinking that they'll sail off into 11th or something like that. They'll have a great season. Darren Moore then leaves, and you're sort of thinking, well, hang on, what's going off here? Because he looked a perfect fit for the club, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did, and I think he probably was. And I think he got the ability to take them further. But yeah, it's difficult to gauge what's gone off down there, and frankly, it's not that much of an interest to us, other than we get some bragging rights at work or whatever, and we can rip into a few of our mates. But like you say, taking your Rotherham United hat off just for a moment. We've said this before. We've said this a few times. Sheffield Wednesday are a club that, as a club, are putting up lots and lots of red flags. There's lots and lots going off when you read between the lines that makes you think things aren't right. Something is not right behind the scenes. Obviously they've had the financial issues and that are well publicised. But the shirt sponsor, what was all that about? It doesn't ring. It's a company that's got absolutely no money, and where, why? The shirt manufacturer, all that sort of stuff that we've discussed before, and then you're parting ways with a manager who was more than capable of keeping you in that division and probably kicking on as well. Why? It's too many red flags for me. If I followed them, and thankfully I don't. So we can just enjoy it. We can sit back and enjoy. If it all falls apart, which quite frankly I hope it does, but it just don't feel right. Why Darren Moore has left. He strikes me as a man with a lot of integrity. You know, he strikes me as an absolutely straight down the line kind of bloke. And my view is probably, and it's a guess, obviously, that he's probably the one that's walked rather than having been pushed. Whether these bad assurances made to him or that, you know, money will be available or whatever, I don't know. The way he was treated by the supporters after that Peterborough loss was despicable. You know, there's probably a number of factors, but deep down, I think they're in trouble financially. I think behind the scenes they're in trouble.
Quite possibly. Reg says, "Do we really care about Wednesday? A waste of breath." I mean, so Danny, they are relevant to us. They're back in our league, so we've got to mention them a little bit. And hopefully they'll be down there, whether it's with us or not. Hopefully they'll be down because that'll be another team to take a space away that we can't have. So hopefully it goes badly for
them. I've spoke to a lot of my mates who are Chef Wednesday fans. Unfortunately, there's a few of them. And like them, I couldn't believe Darren Moore had gone when the statement came out. Funnily enough, I was with my dad at the time, who was a Sheffield United fan, and he found it hilarious. But it's like, I thought Darren Moore would be the manager to keep him up, if I'm being honest. I think he had a very solid base to build on. I think he was the man who'd re-sign a lot of the players and be the difference between those players walking and staying through what he was trying to build. And I agree, Mick. I think he's walked. I think certain things were promised. Like, it's all speculation, but certain things were promised, and he's been told that wasn't going to happen, and so he's gone, no, can't do it, and he's walked, which is a shame. But there's a massive hole now at Chef Wednesday that needs to be plugged, from manager down to, you know, assistant recruitment officer or whatever the official title is. Like, that's a whole backroom staff that needs completely rebuilding now, and pre-season starts on Monday. You know, and I think they've got 14 contracted players, something like that. So it's like, that is a huge undertaking. I mean, it's a huge undertaking for us recruitment-wise, and we've got, I think, close to 20 players still contracted. So it's a huge ask for Chef Wednesday now. Yeah, they've got a lot of pull because, you know, they're a big club, big stadium, huge fan base.
Massive,
yeah, massive. But
Massive.
that's the difference. They're massive, but we're mighty. You know, that's why we've been in the higher league for a season and finished higher than them for a few seasons. But yeah, it's a huge undertaking at Chef Wednesday. From a football fan perspective, it's like, oh, you know, that could be a team down there with us. But from a friend of my mates who are Wednesday fans, it's like, I actually feel for him a little bit, because it's just a little bit, yeah, because it took a sledgehammer straight to their any hope they had of going towards the playoffs, however slim, has now been took straight from under them. Like, the table leg's gone now.
Yeah. Well, Danny, are you all right?
Don't get mixed started.
Can somebody call Danny a doctor?
The table leg's gone now.
Hilarious.
The table leg's gone now. They won't get playoffs. Really. They won't do a Sunderland.
Johnny, who is a proper neutral, says it's a stupid decision as a team. Took the playoffs. They were already behind the rest of the division in terms of preparation. Now they're even further behind the curve. Yeah, John, again, let me ask you, so back when you were a player, I don't know if you ever experienced a change of manager in the summer. How unsettling is that you had a manager and now he's not there, and you've got pre-season with with a new guy and a new everything?
Well, first of all, Darren Moore, I know him personally, and he's a great guy, and what a fantastic career he had as a player. And really, he did the job. It comes as a shock to me. I didn't believe it. At first I thought, and then it was announced, and then it come where it was right, and I thought to myself, something's happened there, and all the staff's gone as well. Mm-hmm. Now that is a big thing that he's cleared the day. But I just don't know. I think, and I want to talk about Rotherham. The size of the club, we've got a local owner who owns the club. Whatever people think, he's got his company in Rotherham, and he knows the score. I'll tell you now, I don't know this chairman there, but when I see things and I hear things, I bet some Saturdays he doesn't even know the score at whatever time. Whereas, we're blessed where we've got the local owner, knows what it's about, he's in and around the town. And as I say, he employs a lot of people in the town. So we're blessed a little bit there. And, long may that reign. When these companies come in now, especially the Championship League, you see the Premiership's got the big companies. They're now coming into this Championship. And West Brom have got it now. There's Bedlam down there at West Brom. As you said, Sheffield Wednesday, that's a big thing now. As a player, you must be thinking, what's going on here? And you're going to have a new manager, new coach. You're going to have everything all new. It's not the right for me. It isn't. But who knows until the season kicks off? But that's enough about Sheffield Wednesday. But I'd rather and as I say, we're blessed with what we've got, and let's embrace it. And we're in the Championship. We're in this Championship. It's a fantastic league. Let's embrace it and enjoy every game and just soak it in. New York Stadium full every week. We haven't got the big stadium where it's half empty this year. And get behind the lads. That's what I say. Come on, whoever. I mean, we're all waiting for signings. Even I am. Let's get behind these lads and let's embrace it. The 10 years we've been at New York Stadium have just been unbelievable.
Yeah, they have. I think
we've given the Wednesday fans enough to clip, lads.
We could finish Wednesday now. I think season ticket sales have been brilliant as well, haven't they? I think they're as good as they've been in a long time, to be fair. That's great that everybody's getting behind the club even further than they already were, because fans have been great last certainly the last 12 months and beyond. They've been brilliant fans.
How many season tickets have we sold, by the way? It's nearly 7,000, isn't it?
It was 6-8 was the last update, I think.
I think you're about 6. I think I've seen 6-8. Yeah.
Wow.
So we're in June, so
wow.
It's gonna hopefully go up. So yeah, if you haven't bought a season ticket, go back. Try, if you can, go buy a season ticket, get behind the team, because we're a roller coaster season again. I'm absolutely certain of that. Yeah. Anything else? We've covered plenty tonight. Is there anything else? There's not much news happened. Is there anything else we want to discuss about Rotherham related or tenuously?
No, I think we're just talking about season tickets there. Just for people who are new to Rotherham United, who are sort of very much younger fans. When we were at Millmo, we were selling 1,200, 1,300 season tickets a season. And that's not that long ago. And I imagine, there's no doubt that when we were at that Don Valley place, the number of season tickets sold were the same. So it's taken off massively, and a lot of that is because of the stuff that John's talked about there with the work Tony Stewart's done. So it's great, and hopefully that figure will go up before the season starts, and it'll almost be a full house of season ticket holders, which will be wonderful for the club. So yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, very good, Mick. Thank you. No rants tonight. It's been good. So we want to reiterate, if you haven't already signed up for Midnight Walk and you want to, you can sign up online by Friday, or as John mentioned, turn up on the night and pay to walk. We should also mention the cricket game, John. Just give everybody the details of the cricket game at Wickersley, which is...
that's followers. We've got a big week. We've got the Midnight Walk, and on the Thursday, I did want the cricket match on the Friday. One or two people have had a little pop at us about that, but Wickersley, I wanted to keep the cricket match going because it's such a great entertainment night and a good fun. And if we get the weather, I'm now watching the weather. First of all, watching the weather for the Midnight Walk. I think that one's going to be all right. It's going to be a bit hard. Next one, then after that, with the cricket. That's on Thursday, the 29th. Matt Taylor, we'll see him with his whites on. And, when he first come, I mentioned it to him. He says, yeah, he's looking forward to that. So, Wayne Carlisle will be playing in it. There may be one or two celebrities playing in it. I don't know yet. I'll be going up on Monday to see Matt and see what players. I'm certain Ben Wiles, who's an unbelievable all-rounder. I think whatever sport he took up, he could play rugby when he was at school. But he's a very, very good cricketer. And I think whatever sport Ben would play, he'd be good at it. So Ben will be putting the whites on, and we'll see where else we'll go in there and see who else Matt's got, and then I'll fill places with a few celebrities. But that's just, again, whether you've only got, if you haven't got anything, just come to the game. But if you took 10p in or £100, it's 10p towards our wonderful hospice. So it's always great cricket club, Wickersley. They do look after us, and let's keep it going. We've got great sponsors for that. Got the W Restaurant and Burroughs Motors again. Steve Burroughs always backs us, the Rotherham Hospice and the football club. He's always sponsoring. He's in the lounge as well. So no, we've got the cricket match, and then obviously the reason it's on a Thursday is Friday. We just didn't have the staff. Plus, me and Ronnie wanted a pint at the cricket club, and we also want a pint at the Legends Night, Kevin Johnson's unofficial Legends Night at the New York Stadium, which has been sold out and very successful. So me and Ronnie will be having a drink Thursday night. We'll be having a drink on Friday night, which is it doesn't sound bad at all. But yeah, so come and join us at the cricket. As I say, we'll watch Matt Taylor, and I saw he got 80 something for Penistone the other week, so he must be.
Yeah, exactly. Mick, John Morell in the comments wants to know if he donates, will you do 2 laps, Mick?
I'll tell you what, John. If you donate, when we play Birmingham at our place, I'll buy you a pint, mate. There you go. I'll take you to a proper pub and buy you a proper pint.
You're taking him to the Cutlers, aren't you, mate?
I am, mate. Yeah.
Why not? Give you a good mention. Brilliant.
Right, so there we go. Thank you, everybody, for listening, who's been involved with us tonight. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you've subscribed. If you're on iTunes, Spotify, make sure you've subscribed on there as well. If you aren't going on the walk, try and donate to the Just Giving page for the Midnight Walk on Saturday. If you are, we will see you there. Looking forward to it. I'll have a good laugh on all those miles that we're going to complete. Yeah, Mick, it's been a pleasure, and I will see you on Saturday.
Yes, you will indeed.
Danny, always a pleasure to see you, mate, and I'll see you Saturday.
Yeah, always a pleasure. I don't think we're quite celebrity enough to play in the cricket match yet, are we, lads?
we are very, very low down.
You never know. I might be calling on you.
Oh, Lord.
And John, it's been fantastic to have you with us. Thank you very much for being on the podcast and all the work you do for the hospice as well. And then we'll see you Saturday.
Thank you. Thanks, lads. You're doing a great job. And up the Millers, everybody.
Up the Millers.
Up the Millers. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Cheers, lads.
Carabao. Vicious. Brilliant. Mule with it. Wood's got round the back. And Richie Wood has done it again. The magic man has come up with another trick. Well, here's a chance to seal it. It's done.